Day 15 of our 21 days. This morning I've been thinking about the widow and Elisha the prophet. The widow goes to Elisha and says, my husband is dead and the debtors are coming after my sons and I need a miracle. And Elisha says, what do you have in your house? And she says, I have nothing but a jar of oil. Then Elisha says, well, go get as many vessels as possible. And she went and borrowed vessels from her neighbors, everything she had in her house, and she began to pour the oil in the empty vessels. And there was a miracle because as long as there was vessels available, oil kept coming. But when there were no more vessels, there was no more oil. It makes me realize how you and I are God's vessels. You see, God has a purpose for your life. He has a plan for your life. He has a specific calling for your life. It doesn't matter what phase in life you're in. There is something that God has for you. It brings me to a scripture I want to read from 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 20 and 21. But in a great house there are not only vessels of gold and silver, but of wood, clay, some for honor and some for dishonor. But check verse 21. Therefore, if anyone cleanses himself from the latter, he will be a vessel for honor, sanctified and useful for the master, prepared for very good work. Now, here's the thing. For the oil to keep coming, she had to have available vessels. So for you and I to continue having God's oil on our lives, we gotta be available. But then it says, it's not just the availability, but verse 21 says that if anyone cleanses himself from the latter, he will be a vessel for honor. In other words, you cannot fill what's already filled. In other words, if you empty yourself, then God can fill us. You see, God's purpose for our lives is there. God's call for our lives is there because you are unique at every stage of your life. God has a specific purpose and plan for your life. And therefore, in order for you and I to walk in it, we need God's oil on our lives. But in order to have the oil, we got to be available. And then we have to empty ourselves of our own dreams, our own passions, our own desires. And we want to be making ourselves available to God for His plan, His purpose. Because the verse says, sanctified and useful for the master, prepared for every good work. What would it look like if 2023 you and I walked in His plan, if we were useful in His hands, prepared for the good work? This is what it's about. Prepare yourself for God's good works through you, but you need to be available. Empty yourself and let God walk through. So that's what I'm praying for today. I pray that you add that to your prayer today. God bless you, and I'll see you tomorrow.